Hey guys, so I want to explain to a friend how to fit a small box into a bigger box, or rather fit the big box tightly around the small box. As you can see, this has a lot of wiggle room, but it's also too tall, but we can make it work. The thing you have to make sure is that the circumference of the boxes, the bigger one has actually a larger circumference. On this one it's obvious. If this box was a little bit longer or wider, it would be less obvious. You would have to add up 6 inches plus 12 inches versus this one is 10 inches plus 15 inches, so that's 25 inches versus 18 inches. Obviously that's going to fit. Now on the height, it's a little bit different. You have to make sure that the height of your box with the flaps open, that's both the top and the bottom flaps, is greater than the perimeter or the sum of the two sides of this box. So in this case we have 6 inch plus 6 inch, that's 12 inches. And on this one it's going to be 4 inches plus 5 inches plus 5 inches again, so that's 14 inches. That's bigger than 12 inches, and it's going to fit. And I'll show you how. But I'll also show you what happens when the height is not tall enough. I had another test box here, and what happens is it'll close on one side, but you're going to have a gap on the other side because this inside box is, let's measure it. So this box with the flaps open is 15.5 inches. And the height plus width on this one is 8 inches plus 7 inches. Well, that should be pretty close. Also 15 inches, but I guess I didn't wrap it tight enough. It was too close. It was 15 on both, and I didn't wrap it tight enough, and I ended up with a gap. So you want the height to be a little bit more than the perimeter of your box that you're trying to fit. So let's make this work. So what you do is you open up the box. Open all the flaps. Then you find this tab where the box is attached, and you separate that. And basically just rip it, and it separates usually pretty easily. That's good enough. And now you end up with this thing. Basically a flat rectangle, and you can just wrap this around your original box. So what I'm going to do is let me see, am I going to have enough room here? This one is 2.5 inches. This is 6 inches. No, it's not enough, so I don't actually want to bend this up here yet. I want to start it down here so that I have enough flap to close up on both sides. So I'll just put this in the middle, wrap this around, wrap this side around tightly as well, and this one as well. And this one as well. And we'll just cut this off because We don't need this extra flappity flap. We can just, yeah, we can close it up like this, that's fine. And then you need to cut these bent pieces so that we can fold the flaps over. Somewhere there. Same thing here where we have a bend. There, and we only have 2 bends pretty much. I cut them correctly. I'm going to cut this one too. Like that. Once we did that, we can start folding. Well, before we start folding, it's probably easiest to wrap this tightly and tape it so that it's not going to fly open on you. Like that. We also have to notch this corner here. That corner is good. That corner is good. Start bending over flaps. Actually, didn't have to match those that deep, but we're good. So you bend this over. Bend this over. Basically have the bottom of the box. You can obviously do this cleaner on your own, but I'm just in a hurry here to not make this video too long. Boom. So we have the bottom of the box. And we just do the same thing. Wrap this box in nicely. And we do the same thing with notching on the bent corners. This one is bent. Notch it down. This one is bent. We notch it down. And that's it. And now we can fold over all the flaps. Like that. Fold this flap over. Looks like I miscalculated the height a little bit. But we can always fill in this gap with some other cardboard, let's say. You cut a piece of this, put it in there. Looks like right there, right there. You can just insert this here, just to close off whatever you have inside there so it doesn't fall out. And you can do crazy stuff. You can actually like fit 2 boxes end to end and tape the seam to fit like really much bigger objects into 2 boxes at the same time. But yeah, we sort of have a box. It's not pretty, but it will be fine for the shipping company, and it still protects what's inside quite well. Cardboard is tough stuff. This one down too. If my height was taller, then we wouldn't have ended up in this problem, but you get the gist. You can actually make it work even when you mess up. Just add more cardboard, add more tape, tape up these kinds of things. You can add cardboard here as well if you want. Just gonna tape it up. And so on. But basically, once you tape this all up, you have a pretty, yeah, see, this is where I messed up. Or maybe not. Yeah, basically I allowed too much height on this side. I basically did what I told you guys not to do. I didn't center my box on this middle panel. I really should have centered my inside box on this middle panel, and then I would have had enough flap. You see here I have too much flap. It's overlapping too much. And here I have too little. So basically I shifted the box too much. Obviously the more you shift it this way, the less flap you end up with and the bigger gap you end up with. If you shift your box to the middle, you get more use of your flaps and it would have covered properly. Right now we have too much flap here, too little flap here. But the sum of the circumference is actually still good. So anyways, I messed up a little bit because I was in a hurry here, but that's the gist of it. You have a box within a box and you can ship it. Have fun.